Back to Bridal Sewing Techniques, and here we are having another Sew With Me live. I have practiced and I've figured out how to change the orientation of this. So I'm super excited, and I hope you guys are too, that we're not having to film vertical today. Yay, we get to fill the screen. So here I am in my sewing room. This is going to be another live Sew With Me, but it's also going to be a Q&A. So get your texting fingers warmed up and type in some questions. Hello, Samara. Welcome back. This is a BST Bestie. It's so great to see you. Are you guys excited about it being landscape instead of portrait? I finally got it landscape. I'm so excited. So the whole secret was, I guess I had to do it right at the very beginning before I started filling out the form to start the live. I can't just fill out the form vertical and then change it. So super excited about this. Hello, Marita Fashion TV. I hope I'm saying it all right. Kazoodle Studio. Hello, looks great. Good. I'm glad it's looking great. Everything's sounding good. I've got my hot tea going here, so I am energized. I love Irish breakfast tea, even though it's not breakfast time here. It's a little bit after lunchtime. Hello, Stacy. Regina. Oh, I love my plant too. Thank you. I love my plant. And it doesn't she like steal the show? What a space hog. I'm actually getting ready to stake her because she needs to go a little bit more vertical. Look at all the room she has. And she's going wide. So today, thank you guys for the thumbs up. So today we are not just going to do the sew with me. We are going to do a sew with me. I'm going to be just sewing some lace applique down. I'll do some of it on the machine and some by hand. All right, let's see. Angie, you signed up for the membership. Nice. Okay. Yes, we will explain some membership things. Yes, Stacy, she's leggy like me. I'm short-waisted, so I'm like a granddaddy long leg. You guys can't see that here, but Cape Town, South Africa. Nice to have you. Thank you. Thank you. It's always a work in progress, this sewing space, right? I think everybody's sewing space is a work in progress. But for those of you joining, what I'm saying is I'm going to do a sew with me today. I'm going to be doing a little bit of applique on the machine, and I'm also going to be doing some hand sewing. But today's primary focus, instead of just working on a sewing project, is I am going to be doing some Q&A. So I need you guys to think of some questions, and we're just going to have a little talk, just a little talk-a-roni, okay? Just a little talk-a-roody, a little talk-a-roo-roo. And you guys can ask questions, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. And we'll just have kind of the sewing room background today. And the lovely Monstera, who is getting ready to get staked. Yep, she's going to get staked. All right, let's see here. Let's pull these up. All the questions here. Somebody was asking about memberships. Angie Gregory, a BST bestie. Hi, so happy to be here from Mississippi. I signed up for your monthly, but not exactly sure what benefits I get. Can you explain that? Sometimes during this time, I signed up for the middle level. Yes, okay. There should be a way, guys. Number one, if you have an iPhone, you are not able to see the membership stuff on your phone. But if you have an Android, or if you are on a desktop, if you go to my channel homepage, next to the name of my channel, Bridal Sewing Techniques, you'll see the button that says join. And if you click on that, it'll give you 3 different tiers to choose from. And I made the first 2 pretty cheap. Like one's like $1.99, one's $4.99, and then one is the big kahuna. It is $49.99, and these are monthly fees. So this is a membership deal. So under each membership level, it'll tell you what your perks are. So I think what she's saying is, obviously you sign up and you see your choices when you sign up, but I've kind of wondered the same thing. How do you go back and see the benefits for each level? So I do want to explain that, but I also, guys, I want to answer this question, but I don't want it to sound too salesy either, because I really want this to be for you guys, but I understand, Angie, what you're saying. So what I'm going to do, Angie, to answer you, but to not make it feel salesy for everybody else who maybe just can't do the reach right now for a channel membership, what I'm going to do is I will do a blog post about it. Okay. So I'll have the pictures of the different levels. Also, I think it's already in the community tab on my page. I think I've already done a post that shows the benefits of the different levels, but I don't know. Some of this stuff goes away and I'm not aware of it. So I'll do a blog post and I'll break down each level and what they all include. The more expensive level, the reason why it's so much higher is because it actually includes a monthly one-on-one consultation. So it's for the BST besties who are kind of tracking that way, where we touch base once a month and help them with their business plan and their business growth and how to, how to solve all the issues that are coming up, how to grow their business and whatnot. So that's how that is. It will be in my blog on my website, bridalsewingtechniques.com. So let's see the questions, guys. Q&A today. Let's see. Let me go back. That's so cute. Stacy and Diana talking back and forth. That's awesome. You guys can do that, by the way. It does not bother me one bit. You guys just chat it up. All right, let's see. Tina, oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Let's see. Crafty D, hello, love watching. Good, I love having you. I think this is also, guys, I mentioned it early on. This is a good thing just to have kind of going in the background too. Some of the sewists are planning on just it being a sewing time every Thursday, 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're going to be sewing and they're just going to have this going on in the background. So they could pop in with a question if they have one, or they can just listen in, which I think is a really great idea if it works your schedule. Okay, Samara, let me know if I'm saying your name right, by the way. She's a BST bestie. Angie, that's one of the perks. You see the little symbol by your name. So when I see that symbol by your name, that means if I'm flooded with comments or questions, I'm going to prioritize the channel members. So that's kind of cool. That we have that. And then you also get your custom emojis, which are a lot of fun. So, all right, Samara, I always wonder how smoothly you do free motion stitch. I have a Juki 8000A similar to DD. Whenever I try to free motion, it pulls the applique. Okay, that is a super common issue. And it's a tension issue. Let me know, just text me the answer. Oh, good, I pronounced it right. Welcome, Norma from Maryland, first time tuning in. Samara, it's a super common issue. Let me know if you are doing regular thread or invisible thread when you do this, because don't forget, everybody, invisible thread stretches really bad. So it's kind of funny she brings this up, because one of the things that I was going to do is I was going to wind some thread while we visit today. I am kind of behind on my invisible thread, and my girls, I shouldn't say I'm behind, my girls who are supposed to be helping me, they have gotten behind on winding the thread. Okay, so I see what you're saying. Sorry if I'm getting in the screen there. It can be either kind of thread. I get what you're saying. Number one hint for invisible thread is to hand wind your bobbins. And this is why my girls are neglecting this right now. This is not something that people are wanting to do, right? It seems kind of boring. So Yeah, so I'm going to hand wind some bobbins while we talk. But essentially, when it's pulling on the applique, it's a tension problem usually. So are you lifting the knee lift when you are doing this? Answer that for me, Samara. Are you making sure to lift the knee lift? And are you using a size 18 needle? So these are two of the most common issues that I find when somebody's having problems. Well, I should say three. The first one obviously was the bobbin tension. Two is they're not using the knee lift. And then three, they are not using the right size needle. The reason why you need a size 18, and I do talk about this in a video on which sewing machine needle should we use. Yes, Irene, here we go. BST Vesty. Yes, I'm going to explain the size 18 needle. I go into my video. I feel like when you're a beginner sewer and they talk about needle sizes, they talk about compatibility between the kind of like the width of the needle and how sharp the needle is, the size of the needle. Yes, ballpoint 18, Samara, that's right. They talk about that and its compatibility with the fabric that you're sewing. So they'll say, okay, use a 9 if you are sewing fine fabrics like silk. And they'll say, okay, use like a 12 ballpoint if you're sewing a knit. Okay. By the way, this hand here is adjusting for the tension that I'm putting in this bobbin. This is why we're hand winding. Bobbin winders do have tensioners. They do have tension adjustments, but I just find that they're just not as good as our hands are. So I want to make sure when I'm winding it that I'm not stretching it. Okay. I'm just doing it so that it's nice and neat, but I'm not stretching it. It's just free flowing between my fingers. So anyways, they'll say, do the 18 if you're sewing upholstery, that kind of thing. But I've found that there's a lot more to it than that. The hole of the needle is different depending on what size you're doing. And when you're doing a free motion, we need that nice big, ooh, a rant. Stacy, I'm in for a rant. Girls, woo, sometimes we just need to rant and that makes everything better. So anyways, I find that the size of the hole really matters. And when you start sewing with an 18, that hole size is big enough to not stretch your thread too much. Casoodles, you're feeling it. It's good to not stretch the thread too much, your top thread, okay? So I have found if I sew with let's use a 14, for example. If I sew with a 14, I get a lot of thread breakage and thread stretching. So let's look at the difference. Oh, let me show you what I did too. When your invisible thread, it, rolls right back off the bobbin. If you keep it in a magnetic tray, it just holds it still and it's gonna not unwind quite as bad. All right, let's look at these needles and let's look at the tension here. Okay, number 1 for the invisible. Okay, Monstera, look at her. She steals the show. Okay, so it's coming out of this in the top and then I have it come through here. And then I have it come through this guy. Let me just take this off the tripod and use my hands. Can you guys take a second and hit the thumbs up? Hit the button for the like button, please. And it will help so much. All right. So this guy, why is it not focusing? There we go. This guy. Woo! Look at you guys. You're hitting it. Thank you. Oh my goodness, why is it not focusing? Somebody asked last time about what phone was better. Last week I did my Samsung S22. This week I'm using the iPhone. The iPhone is pretty, like the colors, and it does that little clarity, blur, beauty look. That's pretty, but man, it cannot focus very well. And I'm not just bashing iPhones, Delia. I'm not, what did she say? Oh, you're just a phone snob. I love her. But anyways, the iPhone is awesome for doing like reels and stuff on social media. It's king for that. But when it comes to focusing, ugh, you see the trouble it's having. Anyways, you can see it now. See that little flathead screw? This is a tensioner. I don't know if you guys know that or not. Some people don't even realize that. But you bring it through here. This is a tensioner and it's adjustable. So I have this nice and loose. I am so sorry about this not focusing. Ah, there we go. I have it nice and loose. So it comes up through here, comes through here. You can loosen this. I do go ahead and loosen a little bit, but let me see. Does it still disengage? Yeah, watch this. See how it backs off? When I do the knee lift, it disengages the tensioner a little bit. So I generally kind of like do a half lift. I don't go all the way, but I do a half lift when I'm sewing. This also affects the tension. If you still have too much tension, just go through one of these holes instead of going through both. You can even wrap it if you need a little bit more. You can come through and wrap around and go back through. So you've got choice there. And then, let's see, a week or so ago, I guess, on Instagram, I was talking with somebody and they were asking about the feed dogs and they didn't realize it became this big conversation. It was kind of interesting. I don't often mention this, but there's different kinds of feed dogs too. So for applique, if it's gripping too much, this might be another reason, Samara, why it's pulling up. And for those of you just joining us, yes, this is still a sew with me. I do have a sewing project that hopefully I'll get to a little bit. It's just sewing lace down. But my main goal this week is a Q&A. So I'm answering sewing questions. But now I am regretting doing the live stream with the pretty, I wanted to do the pretty little iPhone because I was like, well, maybe it'll do even better than the S22, but it's not. I just cannot get this thing to focus. Anyways, here's a regular feed dog. Okay. Stacy completely skipped. No, that's Silky. Am I saying your name right? Completely skips the adjustable tensioner and it works great. That's a good idea. If you've loosened it all the way and it's still pulling, just skip it. It's a good idea. But if it's gripping your fabrics too much, this is a regular feed dog. Okay. Oh, guys, what are we going to do? I'm so sorry. Oh, that's better. This is a fine feed dog. Look at the difference in the teeth. Okay. So with working with bridal, you might like the fine, and working with regular clothing, you might like the regular. Some of you have bought a sewing machine used from someone who did upholstery work with it previously, and you may even have a super grippy upholstery one, and that's a bad idea. So check on your feed dogs. They're so easy to change, guys. You just unscrew these. Pro tip for getting those unstuck: use a very long screwdriver. Don't use some little nubby screwdriver. Use a very long one. I'm doing this with my left hand. And so you're going to loosen that, pop this right out, and then it just literally has the two screws. You just unscrew those two, lay this in there, and it just pops right in place. It seats very nicely. And then put the screws back in, then put that back in. So easy. But anyways, just make sure that they're compatible. When I was talking to this other sewist like last week or so about it. She ordered some fine feed dogs. She wasn't aware of it. She ordered them, and her name's Katie. Some of you guys might follow her, but she was posting it in her stories. She didn't see a huge difference. In fact, she saw a little more slipping than what she was used to with the fine ones. And so she was going back to her regular. Well, her regular ones, a point to note, is they're worn out. So they're kind of like, it's going to have fewer grips and they're not going to be as sharp, because I forget how many years, I'm making this up. I'm thinking it was like 10 or more years that she's had her machine and she had not replaced her feed dogs. So they were kind of worn down, not as sharp. So she had really kind of gotten used to the grip of that. And that's valid. The new feed dogs are always a little bit sharper than the older ones. So, okay, so there's that for the tension up top. And then at the bottom is, like I said, you're going to want to hand wind your invisible thread so that it's not too tense. Those are the big things. All right, so I was talking about needles. I definitely want to get back to that because that's super important too. For those of you who are just joining, we are talking about free motion stitching the lace and just kind of troubleshooting for those who are still having issues and trying to get their lace to sew right. Get this out of your way. So here's my lovely pin cushion. 9 ballpoint, 14 and 18. All right, so let's look at those. I started with the 18 is on the left, 14 and 9. A lot of people ask me, why do I have ballpoints? I prefer ballpoints because a lot of times with bridal sewing, they mix in knits like for our lining and whatever. And I found that ballpoints are less likely to cut the silk fibers, less likely to jam up the horsehair braid. And it's better for sewing knits always. That's universally accepted. So I just typically like to have ballpoints on hand. But let's look, for instance, at the size of the 9 and the 18. Let's look at the difference in the size of the eye. Oh, goodness. Here we go. Okay. Look at the difference. So it's not just the width of the needle or how sharp the point is. It is how freely can that thread go through the eye of the needle without stretching or breaking. So the main thing I notice when I switch, like let's say I switched to applique stitch and I have a 14 on, I forgot and I thought I had an 18 and I just switched, start doing some free motion. The main thing I notice first off is the thread breakage. That goes way up, that rate. Oh, I want to show you guys this new thread that I got. It's a monofilament. You guys have seen me use my ivory like this. I use it all the time. This is a good, I'm looking for my ivory one. I don't see it right here, but this is a good option if you really hate invisible thread, but you need something that looks pretty invisible. I have this in a ivory also, and it almost disappears. But this, I think, is my new favorite for doing the free motion / applique stitch on these gowns that have the illusion bodices with the lace. This is going to be my new favorite color. Let me see if you can see the number. What does that say? 1218? Yeah. Color is 1218, Scala 200. So it's a super fine thread. People aren't going to see it, but I have found it's not as stretchy as invisible thread. So I don't think it's going to give you the same trouble that invisible thread will. And just to kind of give you some scale as far as how fine of a thread it is, that's that monofilament. And then this is our Gutermann that I use all day, every day, the Maro 100. That's what this one is. And then this one is the Scala 200. All right. I'm getting a lot better results with the focusing on this camera now that I basically just like zoomed in. My hands are dry. Goodness. Fall is coming. All right, let me check the questions. And so there's all your ideas for those of you who are struggling with the free motion drawing up your lace. A lot of times you can test it out too. Put like just like a easy standard thread like what I have here, put that on top and do the invisible on the bottom and see how it does, and then try it the other way. So you almost have like a control group kind of thing, because you're going to have typically a lot less trouble with tensions with like a poly cotton than you will an invisible. So you can try that too. Divide and conquer. All right, let's see. All right, Stacy, current rant, in-house alterations departments, making money on overcomplicated bustles. Oh yes, there is a exactly that in-house alterations department for a business that is 4.5 hours away from me. 4.5 hours, okay? That's a pretty big radius. And I can have a girl come to me and say, I paid over $300 for this bustle. It's too complicated. I hate it. It's ugly. It's got all these layers. My train's a mess when I walk around because they took all the stabilizing tacks out of it, of course. All these complaints. Can you please give me a more simple, clean looking bustle? And of course, my bustle is probably going to be, probably going to be a third of what the other people charge. And I can tell you where that bustle came from. Yes, Stacy, that is a thing. When they didn't make enough money off of alterations, they will go nuts on a bustle and tell some girl, oh, you have to have it. You've got all these layers. This is what we have to do. And charge some poor girl $300-$400 for a bustle, and it's ugly. And yes, I feel that. And that is just wrong, isn't it? Wrong, wrong, wrong. All right, let's see here. What else do we have? Patty Burgett, or Burgett, I'm not sure. Hello, what is the best way to measure a hem evenly? Top layer and linings layers, pins, clips, chalk marker, each layer separate. Okay, Patty, I have a video on that. Go to, not right now, of course, I want you to stay with me. But after the video, go to my hymns playlist on my channel homepage. So if you go to Bridal Sewing Techniques on YouTube, scroll down to playlists and look for the one on hymns, and it'll be how to pin a large ball gown, and then how to cut a large ball gown. So that all of that information is in there. It's a big long video. As you guys know, I take a deep dive on stuff when I'm teaching. And so like this tension question, I could probably go over that in like a YouTube short. I could take less than a minute and teach you about how to have your tension settings. But when you do that, it doesn't give you an understanding of why it's that way. So sometimes that's a good thing if you just need a quick answer But if you're really wanting some understanding, I think long form content is helpful too. That's why we do both here. We do shorts and long form. So you have a long form answer on that, my dear. All right, any other questions? You guys hit me up with questions. This is primarily a Q&A today. When the questions slow down, I'm going to grab the dress and start doing a little hand sewing on the lace. Let's see if there's anything fresh on here. I don't see anything fresh right now. I'm going to grab the thread and the dress. I'll be right back. And we will start sewing on the lace of this dress. I'm getting a sip of tea. You guys don't forget, hit that like button. It helps me so much. Aha! I found that thread I was talking about, guys. This is what I was talking about. It's almost invisible, but it behaves so much better. Here we go. Focusing. Anyways, you can tell the color is 111. I don't know why this stupid camera. There we go. That's nice. I think it switched lenses, didn't it? I don't know what to do, guys. Susanna, how in the world do you take 300 brides a year, struggling with just under 100 a year? Well, honestly, I'm going to do a little less next year because I'm trying to bring you guys a lot more as far as video production and stuff goes. So, yeah, hopefully I will be doing fewer brides this coming year. More like 150, something like that. Okay, the way I do it, and that's a great question because I know some of you guys are wanting to become a little bit higher volume of a store. That's fair. So I'm getting this set up for hand sewing that lace on that dress. Just bear with me here. Oh, man. Those of you who have childhood memories in church, I mean, well, it may happen at your church still now, but if you have childhood memories of church and somebody gets up to sing and they say, bear with me, you're like, oh, Lord, this person is getting ready to sing really bad. It's code for like, I can't sing. What am I doing up here? Oh, my goodness. What were we saying? Okay, let's see. I'm going to bend this needle. When I'm sewing lace, I like my needle to be a little bit bent. That way there's kind of a way out. Okay, so higher volume stores. This is how you take on more brides. I do not fully train other sewists to fully alter dresses. I've just had a lot of really bad experiences with that. So I have no interest in doing that. But I do train them in just about everything else. So I have lace pickers. I have lace sewers. And lace pickers, the awesome thing about having a lace picker is they can start work like day one. They can help you. It doesn't take a lot of training to train a lace picker, and man, can they save you some time. So lace pickers, lace sewers, and bustlers. Again, it just takes a shift or two to teach somebody how to do bustles if you've already got them pinned, right? And you're right there if they have questions. They do bustles. Somebody else cleans for me. I definitely get my cleaning done by somebody else. Trying to think what else. My bookkeeping. I mean, everything that somebody else could do, I do. I send it out to somebody else. There. I dyed that ribbon to my gooseneck. My little, not gooseneck, what's that thing called? Drawing lamp? That's what they call it, isn't it? I don't know. It clamps on. So I just tied a ribbon and then I clamped that sleeve to it so that way the dress can't get away. And then I hooked it like that. I just lifted my presser foot and hooked it under the presser foot. So this way she can't get away from me. How many employees do I have? Okay, I have 2 girls that are lace pickers, lace sewers, bustlers. They also put in bus pads, stabilizing tacks in the trains. All of this stuff takes so many hours. So basically what I'm doing is I'm running the fittings. One of my girls is really good at designing bustles, so a lot of times I hand it off to her to even help the bride pick a bustle. And as you know, that saves a lot of time if somebody else can help the bride pick and figure out what she likes. Trying to think what else those girls do. They also greet. That saves a lot of time if you have those girls be a greeter, so they can greet your brides when they come and get them set up in the changing area and zip them up and, you know, all the things. Come and let you know when they're ready to check out because they're changing out of their dress, that kind of idea. So I've got 2 of those girls, and then I've got my cleaning girl, and then I've got like a bookkeeper, an accountant, and most of those, like I would say 3, the cleaning girl, she's like a contractor. The bookkeeper, of course, has lots of other people they work for, so they're technically not employees. The only people that would be considered employees are my lace pickers, pretty much. So that's how that works. Do you guys have any other questions about that? That's a really good question because I'm telling you, it can really up the amount of volume that you can do. So basically what I was saying is I handle the fitting, and I take notes for how the alterations will be. And then I do the sewing for the fitting, like for resizing the dress, I guess I should say. I do that. But I tell my lace pickers like how much lace to clear out and stuff to have ready for me. And a lot of times what I would do like for this is she would have a sketch or I'd have it marked with pens and I would say, clear this out, that kind of thing. Let's see, I'm trying to think of what else I do. Obviously I do the hemming. Definitely when you're getting other people to help you, you don't want to give them high risk jobs, right? That's stressful. I definitely do not want to give somebody else a high risk job. So I'm getting ready to hand sew this. Let me look at your questions. Again, guys that are just joining, the Q&As are my priority this week. This is like, if I get to sewing this is fine. This is great to sew with me, but it's mostly a Q&A. Let's see. Bride 140 for this year. Yes, Stacy. Irene, how many employees do you have? Okay, got that. Jacqueline's own. I've started doing just regular alteration, but have been thrown into bridal and formal, and I'm learning as I go. No formal bridal training. Welcome to the club, Jacqueline. I will say, Delia! Sorry, I got sidetracked. I was just talking about you. You missed it. Okay, back to Jacqueline. Welcome to the club. I would say 95% or more of the sewists that I work with, even that are serious enough to come out here and do an in-person retreat with me, spend time with me, whatever, running a full-time bridal sewing studio, 95% or more have 0 formal training in bridal sewing. It's just stuff like this. They're learning from forums, they're learning from Facebook groups, they're learning from my channel, of course. Thank you guys for being here. They're learning from like Q&As like this. Also, if you guys ever get stumped, you know, you can DM me on Instagram at Bridal Sewing. Just send me a picture of what your trouble is, and a lot of times we can figure it out. So there's that. Delia came for a retreat. The one saying hello from Franklin, Tennessee. All right. Delia, what I was saying is, um, I'm doing this live stream with my iPhone. You know, I'm iPhone challenged. And I said, what was it you said? I'm a phone snob or something like that. I'm very stuck in my ways for Android, but I'm trying to branch out, and like when one phone is better at something than the other, I'm trying to switch so that I give you guys the best filming experience, the best production experience that I can give you. So this is I think it's my first live stream with the iPhone, and I'm struggling. So you've come over to the light. No, I wouldn't go that far. What I was saying, Delia, is what I have learned in the past. How long has it been? It's been a little over 6 months. Is they're so different, which I already knew, but the strengths and weaknesses are vastly different. So if I was on Instagram doing reels or posts or taking pictures for posts or whatever, the iPhone it's like it was born for Instagram. Okay. Instagram and the iPhone are in a love affair for sure. But when it comes to like filming sewing, and the focusing is so important that I have my focusing right, I do feel like the Samsung does head and shoulders better than the iPhone on that. Because the iPhone is into that, like the pretty aesthetic, and I don't feel like their clarity is there. Like, see how my skin, it has like this dreamy look to it? Like, that's kind of what people want, like when they're taking pictures, right? They want to look dreamy. But like if I'm trying to show you something, the clarity isn't there. So I feel like for my filming, it's not as good for that, if that makes sense. So yeah, I bounce back and forth from those. And I can't say if you buy one phone, it's going to do everything the absolute best. Neither one, I think, is going to do the absolute best. So that's why I got the other one. You know, you get these little promos and all that with your cell phone carriers. So I just went ahead and got my second phone because I have 2 lines. I just went ahead and was like, let's do the iPhone. That way, if I need something that, you know, it's better at, I'll just hop back and forth. So there's that. There is that, guys. But I always say, do the one that works best for you, because their operating systems, like the user experience, is so different. Let's see. Any other questions? Questions. All right. Let me bring this down a little bit and up like that. And then let's get some sewing. Just a little bit of sewing done. Like I said, not much. Not a huge priority today. So have you guys seen this on one of my other videos? Oh my goodness. This is so annoying. Okay, I think it's slightly in focus. It's catching my thumb now. If you put the 2 tails, oh good, you can see them. If you put the 2 tails, I learned this from my bestie Pam. Pam, if you're on here, honey, good luck. She is having rotator cuff surgery tomorrow. Ooh, ouchies. Thoughts and prayers, people. That sounds horrible. She's a sewist, and she fell and jacked up her, I am not having a very good time here. She jacked up her rotator cuff, and they would not do surgery right away. I'm going to have to pull this up to my face. I'm sorry. They made her go through prehab before the surgery. So surgery is this week. She's been in misery for a long time. So poor Pam, you guys wish her well in the comments. hopefully she is resting and she's with us today. Oh my goodness. I legit legit am struggling. Sometimes, have you noticed, sometimes the eye of your needle gets bent and you almost can't hardly thread it anymore. Wondering if that's what's happened. All right, so this is what I was showing you. If you put both through the eye, and I just dropped my needle. I'm going to lose my mind. Okay, here we go. And then you kind of come through it like a little swing. Like that. Can you see what it's doing? Yeah, that lighting is giving us lots of contrast. Just pull it like that. Now when you sew, you're not going to have like one of the threads have extra length than the other. That's so annoying, isn't it? This eliminates that. Pam was the one that told me that. So I do have a video on how I knot my threads. And we just pinch it and swing, swing, swing. Bring it around like that. Sew that right through it. And then the number of loops that we do is how big the knot will be. So that's how that works. Threaded and ready to go. And time to sew. All right, I'm going to go around the edge of this. I'm kind of sewing that dark down behind there. And you guys will see it's not having it where one of the threads bunches up and the other doesn't. It's so cool how that works. Oh, this is that that satin lace. This is kind of like how I did that little video. I did the short on how you can make this lace. This is that same kind of lace. It's so easy to make it, guys. You can do your embroidery on tulle with like a satin zigzag stitch. And then this is like your poly satin matte finish. You just cut out your lace and then you heat seal the edges and stitch it down. It's so easy to make. If you have not hit the like button yet, please hit that. Oh, one other video I have coming up. Let me tell you a couple of videos I have coming up. One is I am going to get it out tonight. I mean, I don't care. I don't care if I'm up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. That stinking video is going out tonight. It's been a beast to produce. But almost all the filming is done. I keep thinking I'm done with the filming, and then I think of like, oh man, that one more angle. If I could drag those dresses out and just do it one more time, this different little lighting trick or different little angle trick to make it very visible for people. And then there I go. Anyways, this video, I'm going to get it out tonight. If it's super late, it's just going to premiere tomorrow at like, I don't know, probably like 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, probably. So, it is my next in the series about how to design your own bridal line, and it's focusing on fabrics. So, like I was mentioning to my members, my channel members get to submit questions or extra ideas that they want to see me cover in the video. You guys are always welcome to do that. It's just, if I field a question in the video, of course, I'll give a channel member a little bit priority, or whoever, of course, asks the best question that's like the most helpful to the viewer, Yes, I will definitely include that in there. But we're talking about bridal fabrics. So we're getting into the different types of crinoline fabrics and sources. Guys, you know we're talking sources in this video. Big time talking sources. Because I've already told you about my illusion suppliers. Oh, that's nice. My illusion suppliers. I've told you about my lace suppliers, of course. So this is going to be more like fabrics. So we're going to get into also lining fabrics, the shell fabrics, like the main fabric that your dress is made out of, your sheer outer fabrics, and where I get them from. I'm going to get into all that, girls. I'm so excited. So it's been huge to get that done, because what it also includes is I hang up several different dresses, and I kind of like lift the skirt layers to show you what the design is like inside the dress to give us the look that we're getting. So I think that's going to be super helpful for those of you who are designing a line but are not exactly sure about what all goes into making the dress drape the way that it does. So there's that. And then there was another video I was thinking I wanted to tell you guys about that was coming up, because I want you to be able to put in questions if you think about it. Let me look at your comments right now, though. Comments and questions, and address those. Samara, sorry I had a customer. When we do free motion, what number should we keep for the stitch length? Thanks. Oh, okay. Samara, this is such a common question. And my answer is it does not matter. Some teachers and some sewists out there claim that it does matter. It does not matter one iota to me what your stitch length is, because when I'm sewing on this machine and I engage that knee lift, it disengages the tension and it's lifting the presser foot, and I have the fine feed dogs. So there's not that grippy drag doing this, pushing the fabric forward. That is what gives you your stitch length, right? Is the feed dogs doing that. It's like, how often do they do it? This is a long stitch length, right? It's a short one. So it's the how much this goes up and down compared to what your feed dogs are doing. So when you eliminate the feed dog activity by raising the presser foot, stitch length doesn't matter, and your hand is doing the stitch length. So you're making kind of like an embroidery hoop with your hands, and you're just moving the lace around as needed. And if I want to stay in one place and really get it, I just don't move my hand much. And if I really need to make some tracks, I'm going to move my hands around. So I hope that clears that up, because that's a super common question. In the back of my mind, I'm still trying to think of what video was I getting ready to tell you guys about that I was getting ready to do. I'm doing this final one, the final one about the fabrics. After this one, I've got 2 more videos in that series. So we've got the fabrics, and then we've got my draping video of actually draping and making the dress. I should probably turn that into 2 videos. And then my final one is actually going to be, how are you going to get it to market and sell it? Okay, how's that? All right, let's see the other questions here. Oh, and one other. Pinster, hello from Ontario. Hello, A. You guys say A up there a lot. I have a lot of Canadian friends. Let's see. Oh, okay. The other video that I'm getting ready to do, I'm super excited about it. It's going to be very, very helpful. It's about, you know, those mesh panels or V's or whatever that you see the cutouts in the dresses. That's right, eh? Those, how do you adjust them and really sew them back in the right way? I have a video coming up on that. So I'm super excited to share that with you guys. because that's definitely a higher skill level there. What I do most of the time, because it's the most affordable, it's the fastest, and it's very easily reversed, is I would typically just, like if it's a V and I'm taking it in, I'll, fold that mesh under that satin and really just hand stitch it down super secure. And so I'm just bringing it in like that. But if you were to turn the dress over, you would see the fold of netting here on the inside, stitched down nice and flush and neat. So that's like the shortcut, cheaper way. But in this video coming up, I'm showing you the right way, where we actually like take the layers apart and we're sewing it in, and how to do like the edge stitching and all that kind of stuff. The under stitching. People always call it top stitching. That is not top stitching because it's not on the top side of the garment. It's on the underside. It's under stitching. But we'll get into all that in that video. We are getting ready to finish up the end of our hour. I'm going to take a sip of tea while you guys type questions. Remember, this is mostly a Q&A. I did very little sewing, right? But again, that was not my big goal. So hit that like button real quick. Like. You guys hit that like button. Not the thumb emoji, but the like button. Hit it right there. Hit that for me. And then real quick, type up a question for me. We've got 4 minutes. I'm going to take a sip of tea. And you guys give me your questions, and I'll rapid fire answer some questions for you. Thank you for the extra likes. Thank you guys so much. It helps this video get seen, which helps me get paid, which helps me to make more videos. Yes. All right, Angie, how long have you been doing bridal? I'm 58. I do mostly prom, pageant, and homecoming formals. Ooh, bless your soul, girl. Ooh, that's high pressure stuff. Those girls are crazy. Lots of beads and glitter and woo. I have started bridal. I do not feel too old to begin this. No, you're not too old to begin this. I want to continue to learn. Well, that's what you're here for, girl. You are learning. You're on the right track. Again, if you ever have any questions, Angie or anybody else, just DM me with pictures and questions. So exclusively bridal, I'd say I've been exclusively bridal for like, I don't know, 10 years or so, something like that. But I did used to do, all of the above kind of thing. And it gets to a point where you get enough bridal work in most cases where you can kind of get rid of the other categories if you don't like them anymore. I just found, prom, homecoming, whatever, they're intensely seasonal. Okay, so bridal, we have big bridal seasons around here is June and October. But, it's not all like within a couple of weekends. Like we do still have them scattered throughout the year. Well, homecoming and prom, like if you only have like a couple of local high schools, you've got some very concentrated due dates. That is like stressful. Also, the people are usually, unless if you're like in some big Texas pageant town or something, in a lot of areas, the people don't want to spend a lot of money on alterations, and they've either A, bought a cheap dress, or B, they've already blown their budget on the dress, and ugh, who wants to be in the middle of that? So that's why I did personally make it my goal to move to bridal only and out of the formal wear. So yes, you're busy the whole school year. It's true though. Like if you mix in like recitals and, all that, you can stay busy with all that stuff. Also pageants and stuff. Yes, Stacy. I'd say like almost 70% of my viewership is actually validation viewership. Stacy, you're very accomplished sewist in your own right. So, like for her and a lot of other people, they're like, yes, I've been doing this in a vacuum, but I've been doing it right. That's what I do too. And it just makes you feel better. And then along the way, you might see one or two things that's different that you can kind of put in your tool bag. So that's cool. Do you have a favorite hand sewn needle brand? Irene Hall, BST Bestie. I kind of do, but this sounds terrible. I'm also not like a hand sewing needle connoisseur. So like if I think it's the Hemming and Sons that I use, but if I were to say this particular needle is the ultimate, I'm sure somebody could come along and be like, oh my God, no, that's not the ultimate. This is, there's probably better ones out there, but I'm perfectly happy with it. I use is it called Richard Hemming and Sons? I forget. I have a video on my needles, by the way. Video on my needles, and it's also on the products page of my website. And I do prefer to use millinery needles over beading needles because the eye is just a little bit bigger, which makes it a little easier. What you guys just saw me threading was probably a beading needle, and that's why it was so gruesome to thread. But they're a little bit easier to thread, and the millinery needles, they're easier to get them in longer lengths, and I feel like they're not quite as bendy. So yes, maybe that's it. John James. Stacy, I'm lost my mind. I can't remember. Guys, I need to pull, I don't have it right here, but I have packaging. And when I order them, I literally just pull up the packaging and reorder. So, I'm going to add that to my comments. Okay. After this is done, I'm going to look it up and I'm going to put it in a community post on here and I'm going to pin it to the comments. How's that sound? Because I just have no idea if I'm even making any sense about those needles right now. All right, let's see. Elizabeth came a little late. What was the advantage of hand widening the bobbin? I've heard this twice lately. Thanks. It's the tension, Elizabeth. Instead of like, I find even if I loosen the tensioner knob on a machine wound bobbin, it tends to stretch it. And so when I go to sew with the invisible bobbin thread, it pulls up my fabric too much. So I just loosely hand wind that. Oh, Richard Hemming and Son. Irene, I'm not crazy. Okay, that's what I was picturing. This is a lot to talk like for a whole hour and to even know what in the world you're saying. All right, let's see. Losh, hi, I'm from South Africa. Hello, from beautiful South Africa. Unfortunately, I would love to have more business, but I don't market my business properly, I think. Okay, Losh, I do help people one-on-one consulting with marketing. The reason why I put that into consulting and not in a video is because it's so very different based upon where you live. And I really need to have a conversation with you first to figure out what your situation is like. And then we come up with a plan together. But it does work. I can tell you that. My marketing has worked really well for a lot of people in the past. So if you want to do that, you can just email me. And we set up consultations. Also, you can join the level 3 membership here and become a channel member, Losh. It is pretty expensive. It's like $49 a month, but that's because it includes my consultation fee. So when you look at it that way, it's really not expensive at all because that would be $50. So it includes a 30-minute consultation monthly. So that's cool for a growing business if you want just a customized experience. And we can just do that over Zoom together. Pinster, your videos have given me more confidence in the bridal work. Awesome. That is what I'm here for, guys. Jacqueline's own, have you ever designed your own lace fabric? Well, yes and no. I mean, I have to when I have to match the lace when I'm doing alterations and I don't have it, right? So I do make it sometimes like that. But to actually design it, like to sell under my own label, no, I've never done that. Irene Hall, BST Bestie, their needles bends as you work with them. Yes, that's what I like about them. So the Richard Hemming and Sons, it's like I just go like this and it makes it curved. But it's not like the flimsy all over the place curve. Like the one you guys saw me sewing with was a little too flimsy. I think that was like a just a flimsy beading needle. But the millinery ones, they're longer and they've got a little bit more bounce to them. So actually, if you guys want to hang on just 1 second, let me just go get the package and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just hang in there. All right, I'm back. Oh, you guys did hang with me. Thank you. I was afraid everybody's going to leave. All right, so this is my number one. Shoot, here we go again. All right, focus. This is my number one size one that are, yes, Stacy, bent just right. That's right. Eileen, however you say your name. Yes, the Monstera has had a growth spurt. She's like outgrowing me here. Look, it's so funny. The size I love. I put a note in there. These, I won't use this last one because this is my reordering notes here. But these are the super strong bridal needles that you see me use all the time. And don't forget, like I said, I have a video on my needles. And I also have on the products page of my website. So this is my super strong ones. This is the ones I'm hand sewing through, like Alison lace, I call it, or Alençon lace in satin, and pulling it through with pliers and all that. And this guy is a trooper. So I like that, but that's that brand. This is, oh, the focusing. Yes, exactly. Tough corset. That's perfect. Here's a nice long, and let me show you what I'm talking about. It's a millinery. So you do that, and then it's curved so that when you put it in through the dress, the tip will come back out at you. All right, that's everything. If you try this, at least if it, let me say it this way, because somebody will tag me for saying that. If I try this with a Singer brand hand sewing needle, like that I get from like Walmart or something like that, the needle will literally snap. Their needles are garbage. Oh, the focusing. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to use this one again for a live stream. I will use my other phone for a live stream. Lesson learned. You only know if you try, right? But anyways, there's that. And then here is, this is the beading needles size 10 Lance brand. These are the ones that are a little more flimsy. They're super skinny, so I can get them to go through anything. So that's why I still get them. But I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan because they kind of bend a little too much. Oh, I'm so fed up with this. There we go. That has a pretty big eye on it, doesn't it? That's nice. I really apologize for the focusing this week. We'll get it. We'll get it there. We will continue to use this phone when I'm making reels to Golden Girls audio. All right. Well, I have gone over my hour. I've kept you guys long enough. Let me just check one last time, see if you have any other questions. Let's see. Yes, Irene, using that custom emoji. Yeah, Stacy, if we lose a needle that's bent just right, it's a sad day in Happy Town, isn't it, when that happens? All right, guys. It's a big mess. I promised you I would be real. It's a mess. It's the fall bridal season around here. So, but that's another thing that I can kind of farm out to my helpers, right? You guys have a beautiful week. Thank you again so much for joining me. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please just go ahead and hit that like button so that YouTube will push this video out. It's a tremendous blessing. You're welcome, Jacqueline, Eileen, Elizabeth. You're welcome, you guys. And this is also on replay if you've, forgotten anything that I've said. But hopefully me finding those needle packages helped you. Happy sewing, Irene. I really appreciate your support, honey. You guys have a beautiful week. And all you Floridians, you stay dry. Take care.